All right. So I'm sure we can expect a few people to trickle into the meeting. But I want to introduce Terry and Priscilla. Terry is from the Impact Garage, and Priscilla is at Epiphany Lutheran Pantry. I appreciate them joining us tonight for our Community Resource Spotlight Night. So this meeting is being recorded, and we'll be able to share both the presentations and the conversations with our Vincentians after this meeting so they can learn more about both these groups. But I appreciate people joining us. We're going to start with Terry to share a little bit about the Impact Garage. And Terry, you can take it from here.
Okay. My name is Terry Fleck, and I am the president and founder of Impact Garage. We are a nonprofit garage that offers low-cost auto repairs for individuals and families in our community that are low-earning individuals, so they are employed. I'm a social worker by trade. That's what I did before children, and then I meandered into some other things with my life. And then I currently am employed full-time at a church. And just throughout my history, I have seen this transportation barrier as an issue over and over and over again for people to gain employment, keep employment, just remain part of their community. So about 6 years ago, I, found myself being the one that's saying somebody's got to do something about this on a bigger scale. So I started talking with a lady up in Minneapolis, Minnesota, who she has a garage up there that she started in 2014. So she mentored me for a couple years. Then I started branching out into some friends and pitching this idea of opening a full service garage, not just a weekend thing, not a once a month thing, just full service auto repair shop to help combat this need that's out there. So after many meetings with the three other folks that are on my board, so there's 4 of us currently on our board, we went ahead and filed. We became a 501c3 and opened our brick and mortar store in September of 2023. So we'll be coming up on our 3rd year anniversary. Immediately, it obviously is, as those that work with people in need, we were overwhelmed by who came out and who needed help. So very quickly, we added a second technician, and not only support of the need, but support of the community, support from many foundations that found out about us and said, hey, we want to help. We know this is a necessary, resource in our community. So very quickly, we added a second full-time technician. So I had 2 folks in the back, 2 technicians working in the back, and what you would call as like a service advisor. He wears many hats, so he's definitely much more than a service advisor. So we continued just repairing folks' cars. And then soon after that, we added a 3rd full-time vehicle technician. And then we started with 2 lifts, and we currently have 5 lifts. So then I'll throw out some stats that we've done. Over the past 2.5 years, we're about the 2.5 years, we've spent over 2,200 hours repairing vehicles for families and individuals in our community. That represents about 450 families or vehicles for people that we have repaired. And we have saved them over $452,000 if they were to go to a full repair shop. So as you can see, in a short time, it's been very, very significant of what we've done. And the need is great. We have formed partnerships is what we've started to do. We opened under this umbrella that people would apply. I went through all the applications, then we'd go, you're approved, you're not approved, verifying employment, that type of thing. But we've gone to where I still do that, but we form partnerships. Some of our partnerships is the Glen at St. Joseph. I'm sure some of you are familiar with that. So all of the ladies that are there, we repair their vehicles. And so it's just a given. They don't have to fill out any application. If they live there, they're there. Agape for Youth is another one for their Bridges program, which are kids that have aged out of foster care. So we work very, very closely with them to help with their transportation barriers that they have. Several others, families, helping our families. This is out of Springboro. Then we've actually ventured into some businesses. One is Liquid Manufacturing Solutions, because they have folks that are eligible for our services based upon their income. And I can go through the list of many more, and we're continuing to grow that. It's my ideal to have these resources that will refer to us, because they're giving a holistic approach where I'm just not transactional with somebody applying with me, which I know they need many more services. So I'd rather partner with organizations so that we're just a piece of that pie of all the other services and help that they're getting with. The Equity Center is another one that we recently, and they are they're a training center for manufacturers. So they train folks, put them through a 3 to 4 week course, and then place them in job placements. So that's another one. So that is, like I told Max, like, I'm probably not going to have 20 minutes to describe what we do, but I know there's probably lots of questions. And that's typically what I do, open it to questions. So if you guys have them, just go ahead and ask. And I know that'll help people that are watching, later on down the road. And if you do have questions and you're watching this video, you can either call the office, 937-759-8631, or you can email me directly at terry@impactgarage.org. So I'll open it up for questions.
Terry, I have a question.
Yes.
So how many full-time technicians do you have now?
We currently have 3 full-time technicians.
Okay. Yep. And here's my silly question. I'm assuming that you're able to offer them a competitive wage for what they're doing.
Yes, we are. Yeah.
Okay.
When I started my nonprofit, we were very intentional on not having to hire people that they were eligible for our services. So that makes sense. So no, and yes, I stole one of the best ones in the city. And before I opened, that was my goal until Chris said yes, I wasn't opening. So yeah, Chris said yes, and then the next gentleman, Tom, he came to us under our volunteer program. We had some folks come in that have experience, and he was former military, and he had his degree, and he came and started volunteering. So that was a smooth transition into coming in. He started part-time, then went to full-time. And then the next guy came in December, and he actually has followed Chris along where Chris has been at different shops. So he's fit in real nicely with the organization. And then just about a month ago, because as I mentioned earlier, I work a full-time job. So I was juggling a bunch of things as we've grown. So I just hired a part-time program manager, program coordinator. Her name is Gloria. So she'll be stepping in on some of these roles and helping me, as the organization continues to grow.
Could you repeat the phone number, Terry, please?
937 759 8631.
And then can you sort of describe, so what is the discount? I mean, are you like doing it for parts, or is it generally like 50% cheaper kind of benchmark, or is it vary by cost?
So no, it is currently 80% off of labor. So our retail labor rate is $120. So they pay $24 per labor hour. And, the software is where it determines how long does it take to do this, brake job is 1.75 hours. So that's how that works. And then the parts, we give them at cost. So that part cost us $37. That cost us $37. Now we have applied when we've gotten grants for particular uses, because some of the parts are still expensive for folks. You have an alternator, that part cost is $300. So we have applied for grants to even further reduce that. But when that grant runs out, then that additional runs out. So we just keep reapplying for grants just so that we're able to even lessen that cost for folks. And then some have, like our partnering organization, sometimes they'll pay for part of it. Or I have had the situation where people found out about us and it was a neighbor that they knew that didn't have the funding. So they even paid part of their low cost, repairs. So it's really been cool. And that's what I told Max. I could talk for a long time about the stories that have walked through our door of folks that are just willing to help people out. And I will say, of course, I'm biased. Our technicians are phenomenal. They have stories themselves of pulling themselves up and coming from a difficult place of not knowing where their food was going to come or how they're going to pay their rent and all these things that these folks are facing, on top of being really, really good technicians. So it's been a good team that we've put together, and they really have a heart to help folks in this way.
And just a shout out, because I actually referred somebody to you. She did not qualify for your low income assistance because she, makes too much money, but still could, but you repaired her car for half of what she was getting quoted elsewhere. So even if they don't need your assistance, you're providing, a really good service, and we appreciate it.
Correct. And so that's our model of how we opened. So we take we have full retail based, which our full retail, as she just testified, that while we didn't come in to lowball people in the community, we're not here to steal, customers away from whatever XYZ garage. That is certainly not our intent. But we wanted to keep our doors open. So we take full retail cost. Folks can bring your car to us. 100% of those profits then go towards what we call our financially based customers. Yes. Are we less expensive than a lot out there? Absolutely we are. Are we the least expensive? No, you're going to find, a smaller shop or something like that might be less expensive than we are. But that's what's helped keep our doors open. And then the grant funding and stuff like that can even lower the cost for the folks. And the other thing, I know I've had some other folks that have been referred from St. Vincent. A lot of them are unemployed, they're aged, retired. And unfortunately, that doesn't meet our requirement. We couldn't open the doors to everybody to be eligible, or I would have closed my doors in 6 months. I just would not have had the money available. But what is cool is we have partnered and found some other organizations that will pay. Like there's some, shelters that have helped with the homeless, and they know, hey, this person has a car. If they get this car and they don't necessarily meet our requirements, or it's a domestic violence shelter, and they have paid to get that person's car repaired, as you testified, at market rate, but it's still, and if we can give a discount, we're going to do it. We're not here. We're here to help people. So if we can, but if it is very difficult. It's very difficult when we get those phone calls and like, oh, I don't meet your requirements. It is a difficult thing. And that's why I really would like to find, county has money for repairs that they give out. So I refer them, if they're not eligible to that. There's some veterans places that they have money for repairs. So we've been able to work through other organizations. And if anybody knows of any other that are out there, that we could help people through that means, then that would be great. Yep.
Terry, people need to get their car to you on their own, correct? You don't have any kind of a towing operation?
Correct. We do not tow. We highly recommend that folks with the cars, that some of the cars we're repairing, that they get AAA. It's like $80. So you can even get a $60 a year and you get like 5 tows, because they'll pay $200 for one tow. Now we have partnered with some that they are giving our customers really good deals that don't have it. And again, I've had grants that we've helped people out with that, but no, it is their responsibility to get it to us. And I've actually been surprised. A lot of them do have AAA. So.
Do you provide used car checks?
Used car checks?
Yeah. So before they buy a used car, you check it out, make sure it's worth buying.
Purchase inspections, we do.
That's the word. Yep.
Yep. We actually really, really encourage that. And we've done several. And some have taken our advice and some haven't. So, I mean, it's all we can do. You know, and we have started a program just because really quickly in some of the cars were coming to us were not worth fixing. And we hate to what we call DNI, which is do not invest in a vehicle. But we either put it up on the rack and it's totally rusted out where it's not even safe, or the repairs are so, you know, like we had one lady, actually it's one of our only negative reviews. So she brought it in and it was a really, really old Cadillac Escalade, which is a really expensive vehicle to maintain anyways, just because it's a Cadillac. But it was 2004, 5, 6, really old. And it had over $10,000 of repairs just to make it drivable. And we just said, you know, that's not worth your portion of paying, nor is it worth our portion of paying. So we call that DNI. So we saw that early on. So I started investigating and getting donated cars. So we do accept donated cars that we have coined, we rehome them. Those that only done through our partner organization. So like through Agape, through the Glen, and through several other source, you know, of our partners that we will rehome. We are not open to the general public to rehome a vehicle. But we do accept donated cars. To date, let me look at my statistics. I want to say we have had 46 cars, I think, donated, and we've rehomed about 30 of those. Some we're still working on, some we're not, they were too far gone, you know, to have to rehome those, you know, or they were cars that, like, we got a Mini Cooper. That's not something we're rehoming. So we just sold that the market rate and then use that funding. So that is growing in need. And what we're doing is the rehoming portion. We've actually partnered with the Collaboratory and the Equity Center for this initiative that we're calling Cars for Work. And it's working with other manufacturing organizations and companies that are finding that they can't hire folks because they can't get to work. So we're working with them, and so that's going to be a growing part of what we do.
That's great.
Terry, I assume that in terms of determining who can qualify or not, that it's some percentage of the poverty income rates, or can you share something about that?
Yep. Yes. So the application and all that information is found on our website under Apply for Assistance. So it's based upon your household side dependents that you have. And then we started off at, I think, like the 150 percentile of poverty. I'm not a huge fan of that whole government selected income. So I coined it. It's a guideline that I use. And part of the reason I didn't like it is one of my, you know, dual families, you know, with two spouses, you know, with spouses, you know, applied, and because they both worked, and it put them over, you know, what that 150 was, because what's it based on? A single household, you know, supporting. So we raised it, but I'm still flexible with that, because they could lie to me. They could say there's only one in the household and I would never know. So when it's a dual household, I have a conversation. I want to hear the story. I want to hear what's going on. And that's part of the part too of with our partnering organizations. They're going to know that, right? They're going to have their story and know what's happening. So, but it's currently on the guidelines on there. It is the 200th percentile. That's currently on our website, and it's very simple, you know, of things that they just upload on the application. I'm not asking. I don't get into, do you have insurance? Do you have it? That's not my business. I just want to repair your car. What you have to do to maintain yourself, that's on you. So same thing with rehoming. We don't require. Now, some of the partnering organizations, like the Glen, they have to prove it because they're not allowed to bring it on site without them having insurance. So that was a good question.
What's your website, Terry?
It's impactgarage.org.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the typical wait time for a neighbor interested in having their car repaired?
Yep. So once they apply, if they're not coming from a partner organization, so let's just take somebody out in the general public. They apply, I review it and get back to them. As long as they have everything, within 24 to 48 hours, they're going to have an answer if they're approved or not. If they put everything up there, sometimes it's immediately. I just see everything, verify, boom, and they're approved. Scheduling out, we're usually 2 days or so out. And then it's dependent upon their vehicle. In the information that we send them, because we send them, you're an approved letter, form type thing. That explains, you need to drop off the car. Most of the cars are coming in with a lot of neglected maintenance. So it just takes time. A lot of rust because things haven't been, so it just takes time. So we tell them to plan on getting transportation figured out for 3 days once they drop the vehicle off. Am I going to say we get it done the next day? Sometimes we do. Yeah. And that's typically generally you're 2 days out for anyone, 2 days out to schedule. Now, if you call on a Wednesday, you're probably into the following Monday. You're not getting in before the end of the week, but. Anything else?
Okay, tell us one great story from the past couple of weeks.
All right. So let's see. Well, there's a lot from the Glen. There's some really cool stories, but one that stuck out to me is a guy named Cody, and he works for a local. I think he's in maintenance. I think he's in the maintenance department for a local school district. And his car had been broken down. He had taken it to a shop. It was like $3,200 worth of work, they were telling him, that it needed done. So he couldn't. So he was walking, bumming rides, missing work. And then his superintendent found out about us and referred and said, hey, you need to call Impact Garage. So we got Cody's car in. I had 2 kids, maybe 3 kids, I think. Yeah. And so we were able to take that, what they told him was about $3,200, 31 in some odd cents. And we were able to fix his car for $890. So out of his cost that he part that repair. So he was amazing, and his story is sort of cool. A lot of cool stories with, rehoming the cars to some folks who, one in particular with the Equity Center, I replaced to Laquan, and he had rough choices in his life, but he had put a lot of things in order, and he was just so excited to finally get back to driving, and being able to go to work and not have to, get rides from friends or whatever. And then it was even cool. He's like, so I've already set up so that I could share gas money, that I'm going to take, XYZ to work with me and things like that. So lots of cool stories and people you meet. And, it's just fun. Like you had said, you had made a referral and somebody else, brought them to our shop, and I'm assuming their experience was really good, and it's just cool to see that. And this is sort of what I said, like when people ask, what can I do? Tell people about us. Pay attention to who's in your world, because a lot of people that we provide services for don't ever think they're eligible for anything. And repairs on vehicles, number one, I get really agitated when people get taken advantage of. I've actually taken a car back from a buy here, pay here with a lady and turned it back in and said, here's your piece of junk, because it blew up on her. So it's just tell people, be aware of who might need our services. We all go through hard times, and that's what we want to be here to help people, so they're not having to lose their work or lose their house because they can't pay the rent because they got to fix the car.
And it impacts not just their going to work, but if they need to drive the kids to school. Absolutely. And they don't have the car, the kids are missing school, and then they're getting in trouble that way. And, it just has so much.
It's a spiraling effect. Yep. Yep.
Well, great. Thank you so much, Terry.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
And we'll be able to share this video with our Vincentians, so they'll hear this as well. So awesome. That's awesome. All right. And up next, we have Priscilla from Epiphany Lutheran Pantry.
Hi, good evening. If you don't mind, I'm just going to read our mission statement. So the Epiphany Pantry exists to embody Christ's love by providing essential food, clothing, household items, and personal care and cleaning supplies to our neighbors in need throughout the Miami Valley. We're guided by the words of Matthew 25:34, where we recognize that in serving the least of these, we are served Christ himself. And in partnership with social agencies, churches, schools, we deliver hope and dignity to more than 4,000 individuals and families each year. And through the generous support of our congregation and community, we offer not only material assistance, but tangible expression of God's compassion, meeting our brothers and sisters where they are with the resources they need to sustain their daily lives. And we are called to see Christ in every person who receives our help and to respond with the same grace and generosity that has been shown to us. So the pantry is more than just a place of distribution. It's a place of ministry where we show presence, partnership, and practical love that transforms both those who give and those who receive. So I can share a little bit of about the pantry. It's been in existence for about 50 years. It started out with just serving food to families in the inner city Dayton area. And then we expanded into clothing, personal care, cleaning supplies, and then household items such as pots, pans, towels, blankets, sheets, silverware, dishes, anything that you might need to just kind of set up your first apartment or first home situation that you might be in. I can give you a little bit of statistics so far. Through April, we have completed over 400, almost 500 total orders. We've served 1,300 people. 600 of those are adults, 700 were children. We also include in this our food. We've served over 500 adults providing food for them, and also almost 600 in providing food for children. So we provide about maybe a week's supply of food, all non-perishable items. And a lot of that is through donations that our church provides for. People will donate canned foods. We do have a supply with a relationship we have with Myers. So we will use Myers money to get food from them. We have a relationship with the Dollar Tree to get a lot of our personal care and cleaning supplies. So they're a big partner that we have in order to receive our personal care and cleaning supplies. I do a lot of shopping for the pantry, so I use a lot of resources through Target, Walmart. They have great deals on our silverware, plates, cups, and bowls, and anything that we use, such as bedding, throws, towels, anything that you might need, just setting up a new home. A lot of our clients, we all work through social agencies. So we have almost, about 50 different nonprofit agencies here in the Dayton area that we work with: Eastway, Montgomery County Children's Services, Help Me Grow, Homeful. There's an organization called PATH, Behavioral Healthcare, CAM, South Community, and also St. Vincent's. We've worked with Rita Long through St. Vincent's. Big Brothers and Big Sisters is another big organization that we work with. Moms and Babies First. Rapid Rehousing is another one that we're working with currently, where a lot of their clients are coming from treatment centers and are maybe getting their first apartment. So we try to help them get set up. Let's see. Our highest month actually in reporting so far has been April. So we've served over 145 individuals just for the month of April, or actually it's what we call requests that come in through our pantry. So basically how it works is a social worker, caseworker will sit down with their client and ask what they need. They'll then send a request in to the pantry. We will get that request and then work on it in terms of whatever the client needs. If it's just clothes, we provide clothing. If it's maybe food, we'll provide food. If it's personal care and cleaning supplies, we'll provide that. And then along with the household items. So whatever their clients need, we try to work with the social agencies in getting that information, get whatever they might need. So just like some ideas in terms of like the household items. So far just this year, we've given out over 200 skillets, over 236 pieces of flatware, 230 dishes, 236 cups. We've provided 244 towels. And then other miscellaneous items. Sometimes people will donate. Everything that comes through our pantry is typically donated. We do purchase for clothing, socks, shoes, underwear, and we provide also, I've gotten grant money to get new coats for children and winter coats for adults. We also provide, let's see, I'm trying to think of other things that but in terms of personal care and cleaning supplies, that's like soap, shampoos, feminine products for females, anything that you might need, deodorant, toilet paper. So we've provided in terms of the cleaning and also cleaning supplies, mostly something that you can wash your dishes with, dish soap, and then something that you can wash your clothes with, so a laundry detergent. And those items we've given out over 350 of our cleaning supplies, and then the personal care items, over 350 of those as well. In terms of our bedding, we purchased new baby crib sheets and baby blankets. So far this through the month of April, we've given out 40 crib sheets. Our blankets, we've given out over, let's see, 165 throws or full blankets, and queens 102. We also get requests at times for king blankets and king sheets and bedding, and we'll give those out as well, as those are donated to us. But our goal is really to continue to serve those in our community that are in need, and that happens through donations. Our pantry is pretty much funded all through donations. We do have support from our congregation that provide financial support, but it's an amazing organization that is able to provide a lot of needed items for people who are just finding themselves in a bit of a situation where they need help and extra support. As a story to share too, I received a request for a mom and her daughter who were living out of their car and were just getting a first apartment. So we were able to help provide them with towels, bedding, plates, cups, bowls, silverware, a fry pan, things like that to help them get started. So, and that, I typically work in the household area, but we do have a separate room where we have all types of non-perishable canned food items and breakfast items for families that typically will last for about a week. It's just, we're considered an emergency situation, but I think we find that every situation is an emergency situation. So everything that we do is trying to fill a need for families or individuals who are just finding themselves needing a little bit extra help. We do work with a lot of organizations who provide mental health services to individuals who are finding themselves needing that care, and then also needing clothing items or food to, just kind of help them get back on their feet again. I don't know if you have any other questions or if there's anything else I could maybe help you know about our pantry, but it's I've been working there for volunteering for, almost over 18 years now, I think. So I first started out just, I used to donate to our pantry. And then one day I was there where Tuesday mornings is the day typically when the other volunteers will come and fill out the request for our social workers. And I happened to be there on a Tuesday morning, and there was a lot of activity. And I said, hey, do you need help? And yes, come on in, help us. And I've been there ever since. So it's a great way to, we think about how you can go to your pantry and pick out food, or you can go to your closet and you need to wash off. You can dry off with a towel, or you brush your teeth. And I just think the simple things that we take for granted, many people don't have that. We think of that. It's a luxury for people to have those things, and we take those things for granted. So every time I, washing my hair, drying off, and I think, wow, I'm so thankful to have these things. And we know that there are people in need in our community that they don't always have those things. And so the more that we can help, and the more we can let people know that, maybe if you have an abundance of sheets or blankets or towels or plates or shoes or clothes that are still in good condition that you would like to share. A lot of people want to make sure that we don't resell any of the items. Everything that's donated goes right back out into the community to help those in need. So that's a big concern we have with a lot of families that are like, we want to help and we want to make sure that nothing is resold. We don't do anything like that. We just, if you make a donation, we sort through it and make sure that it's in clean and good condition. We also say, like, think about how would you feel if you received whatever you're donating, and sometimes we need to say, it's okay to let that go, and maybe it's not something that, just think about how you would feel if you would receive it. So, because sometimes people donate things and they think is in great condition. Like I have like a cookie sheet that I've used for a number of years, and hey, it's good for me, but I'm not sure that it would be something that would feel, I want the person to feel that they're valued. And we want to make sure that whatever we give them is something of value, that is in good condition, and not maybe if it's seen as better day, it's okay to let it go. I guess that's the kind of, it's okay sometimes. And we have a lot of people who will donate things that if they've had a relative who's passed away, and they're very careful to make sure that whatever they want to donate gets to someone in need. And we assure them all the time that anything that you donate, it goes right back out to the community to help anyone that that is in a needy situation. So that's our goal, is to serve others and be the best that we can in doing that.
Priscilla, do you serve just particular zip codes, or is anyone in need able to come to you and ask?
Yeah, so how that works is we pretty much serve anyone in the Miami Valley area. I think we've gone from like Springfield up in Greene County to even Cincinnati in the area. How we work is we ask social workers to send in a request based on what their client's needs. Unfortunately, we don't really allow the client to come and pick things up at the church, but the social worker, caseworker will get all of the things. We have like little bins in a hallway that they have their name on it. They will come and pick those up and then take them and deliver them to their clients. I've worked a lot directly, though, with schools in our area, from Beaver Creek to even Centerville schools, for families, especially in need of like food. I've had a couple of families that just had moved into the area. We work with Kettering schools as well. West Carrollton, I think we've worked with a lot of the school districts here, where families are coming in and just need a little extra help. And we're able to provide that to them. And I've taken things to the schools we work through the counselors or at the schools. We've also had people, we don't ever want to turn someone away, but we've had people like just come to the church, and as a church, you're like, that's our goal. We want to help people. So for a one-time situation, if we have someone who is in need of food or clothing or whatever their situation is, we've tried to provide help. Just that, no questions, no judgment, just, you need help, we're here to help you. But we do that one time, and then if they need further help, we'll just ask them if they could get in contact with a social worker who could then maybe provide additional resources for whatever their needs might be.
Thank you.
So I'll just put in a plug. We've used your services a few times now. We find it very helpful for neighbors that are moving in out of shelter, or, for whatever reason, left their previous housing with basically the clothes on their back. So with somebody that's really just sitting there with nothing, we find this is a nice little, get you started sort of pack. It's super easy to get down there, pick this stuff up. And I would encourage anybody that, does use this, and our requests go through Rita, there's a form and says, do you need a pot or a pan? Do you need dishes, blah, blah, blah. But then there's like an other. And, one of the first people I asked for, she asked for a coffee pot, a shower curtain, I don't know, one other thing, and lo and behold, you had that stuff. So ask for it, and it's just meant to be if you happen to have a shower curtain sitting right there with their name written all over it. So we appreciate it. Oh, and then one question. I'm assuming that those carts on wheels that are in that hallway are available for me to cart my stuff out to the car. I've been doing that. I take them back, put them back where they belong. So I'm hoping that's what they're for.
Yes, fantastic, fantastic. Yes, I love that. Yeah, because I know there's a lot, sometimes you've got a lot of bags and things, but anytime you need it, yes, definitely take the carts and, that's what they're there for sure. But I love hearing that too, because like you said, when we have that, we have a form that the caseworker will fill out. And if there's that other section, sometimes we have things that have been donated. And I just love hearing that when we have like a coffee pot or curtains or shower curtains or just odds and end things that are donated that someone else might need. So that's perfect. That's exactly the goal, that if it's not on the form doesn't mean you can't ask for it. So I love that I always love that God provides, it's so great to hear that. So thank you.
All right, if there are no other questions, I want to thank our two presenters tonight for sharing their time and their ministries with us. And we're really grateful to have them in the community, and we'll be able to share them with our Greater Vincentian Circle shortly. So we really appreciate that. We are, as Priscilla said, a partner agency with Epiphany Lutheran Pantry. And so we're looking forward to continuing that relationship. So thank you all so much. And if there are no final questions, we'll say goodnight. So thank you all.
Good night.
God bless
Thanks
you.
so much,
you.
Terry and Priscilla.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great ministries.